Welcome back to the show. It's still Good Morning Anambra on ABS TV, and we are going to be looking at the topic this morning, 2023 elections, getting Anambra State safe for the polls. That's the topic we are exploring this morning, and we have with us as a guest John Ifejika. John is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, John. You're
Good
welcome.
morning.
All right, quickly, let's start from what is going on in our country right now. Of course, we are preparing for the polls that is coming up in February next month. And then the pre-election process, the campaigning and all that, and also issuing out of permanent voters card to people. All this process, how would you say it's going when we compare it to the previous elections we've had in the country?
Yeah, you find out that things, I've never heard of any presidential candidate that was attacked or anything happened. It could only be accident of the vehicle conveying the people. Could be at this particular time. But I know that in the time past, it's not like that. Then again, you find out that most of these crowd you see are professional supporters. So why I knew that the political party was to have a rally in a state today and after the next day, the two of them. Then I said no, because it's the same people that come up to share this political party will be there tomorrow again when they are paid. So you find out that you won't see problem because they are settled, and this is a field day for political thugs. It's a field day for some of the people moving around, so they will not cause problem because they are being paid to do that. Except for one political party that says they don't give shishi and something like that. So, but still then, anytime they are there, people wants to come. But it's showing one thing, that the youth of this nation, they are tired of all stories being told to them for a very long time. Somebody gives you 20,000 naira. In the first year, you are entitled to 5,000. Second year, another 5,000. So by that 4 years, is that 20,000. And you won't have the strength, the guts to go and tell the person that the money you gave me, it's finished. The person will say, but I settled you. So that has been what we've been having. But now the youth, they've woken up. So if there will be problem, it will be after the election. And not now.
Not now.
Yes.
Okay, after the election. Okay, Andrew.
About asking this question, as in, what is the security situation concerning this election? I mean, Nigeria, not just in Anambra State, because we've been saddled with this insecurity issue for a very long time. Are we not going to experience voter apathy when it has to do with the general election coming on the 25th of February?
The security situation. In some places where some people felt they were not accepted. So that, like what happened where the other candidate said he's declaring for another political party. You know, they are the four main contenders. But the other one yesterday said, no, he's declaring for another political party. So that he's doing that because he knew that it's getting tougher and something like that. So far, security-wise, I've not seen where policemen are called or soldiers to come and stay in a particular place where they visited. It's just the DSS and the security operative that follows the presidential candidate of that political party. Maybe the political party will have done their own arrangement, but not to the best of my knowledge. It's only in US and the UK that security men can dress. You know, normally in civil dress, you won't see them showing that they are security agents. We don't have them. We don't even have soldiers or policemen trotting their rifles and so on here, all this election. But what we are seeing right now is just those operatives that follows the presidential candidate, where people have been warning one presidential candidate that his behavior is becoming too dangerous for this thing. He gets himself into the crowd, which shouldn't be. So because each time he comes, you find out the operatives beginning to push, to scare, to push this thing. And he too is moving to go and greet them, to go and shake hands. We don't do that. And that's it. So you find out that it seems Nigerians are tired of the old order. And now nobody wants to disrupt anything. So even if people give you money to go and do something, you collect the money to feed yourself first and begin to pray for God for that new where we are going to. But eba ineje.
Okay. Just over the weekend, there's a video that went viral on the social media that we saw a man. He was asked to kneel down. Though the people that were doing that hid their faces, the man was wearing a T-shirt of a particular contender in this election. So they were asking him, what has this particular person done for you as a politician? He said no, but he's supporting him. Now, these people told them to, told his men to deflate his tires and all that. We're talking about the rate of insecurity in our country now. Now, somebody that this kind of thing was done to, do you still see that person as someone that will come out with his full chest, with his family, come out on the 25th to come and cast their vote?
Yeah, those people that did that thing.
And we have seen them destroying some billboards too.
Yes, those people that did that are some tribal militia men. They are not the law enforcement. And when you look at the way they were doing it, they were in a hurry because anything could happen to them. If it's a normal security, they would take their time to do that. They deflected the tire and so on. They wanted a negotiation, money. They wanted to use that as a kind of cover-up. Yes, we have that in so many places, which, because every governor of a state is the chief security officer of a state. And it's for governors to make sure that they cover up so many places. And in Anambra State, I will want, to beg the governor, to employ the governor of the state, that the Aguata, the ring road, Isiago Road to Nibo, is a very dangerous place, and very dangerous place. Some of these tribal militia who lives in that bush comes in to cause mayhem to innocent people on the road. If the state security advisor will do something and make sure that they comb that area and deal with people. This is not the first time they are doing that. It's been a very common something by these tribal militia men. So we have them little by little. Is for us to find out and go there and punch them and see how you clear them. But as for they will come. But on the election day, people are ready to fight for their ballot boxes. It's not the security, because the security man that is always at the polling station doesn't come with any harm. He's just there to make sure there is law and order. But with what is happening now, especially in the southwest and a part of the northern part of this country, is where we have what is called ballot snatching. And this ballot snatching, because Lagos will be critical, because most of the votes will come from the Christian populace and the Igbos where they live. Because when you check the Christian populace of Lagos and the Igbos, they are more than the people, the so-called something. So some of these political parties will want to do something. They may come out, and once they know that in this voting, you people are so many, they will cause mayhem in the polling station.
But in that same because making mention of, there are so many people that have been disenfranchised. They can't even have access to their PVCs. Reports reaching us as in saying that Lagos State is one of the most disenfranchised. In fact, the Igbos in Lagos, most of them are disenfranchised because they go to INEC office to get their PVCs and then they don't even get access to it.
Yes, that's their strategy to see, but at the end of the day, it's not going to work out. Yes. Now, what happened is that if you have 20 million people that register,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, maybe you defranchise 5 million. Then that 15, you have to battle that 15 and so, because that 15 may not be with you. That is it. Because these days, people are saying, we are not going to vote the way it was as it was in the beginning, so shall it be. No, there's going to be a new order. The youth, they are everywhere, they are going to decide. And that's why I'm saying that after the election, if that's whoever that you declare, the trouble that may erupt may be a child play compared to NSAS. So that is why everybody has to be very careful and make sure that you do things accordingly.
Okay. Still talking about how we can actually have a safe polls in Anambra State. Now, you've talked about the state governors owning their state and making sure that things are in place when it comes to security. So I want you, as a security expert that you are, how then can they actually actualize that in the state now? We're using our state, Anambra, for example. We have some security agencies that have been working to help see how we can cope in security that we already have at hand in the state. So coming to the polls, how then are they going to work in synergy to see that we have a safe election?
Number one, there will be motivation from the state governor. It will motivate all the agencies and then give them vehicles that they will patrol. They are not supposed to be in a particular place, because when you say you want to man them, you don't have that manpower. Now there will be phone communication where everybody in the whole place will know what is happening. If something is happening in a ward in Enugu, and you call, there will be a line, and once you call, the nearest security agents in that place will now run to that place and quell the whole situation. So it's going to be a situation of joint patrol, the civil defense, the army, the navy, the police mobile force, and some other people. Now, which maybe the vigilante group or whatever group or the Blue Shield, you pay them and bring them out to that. All these things, it's no question of, not when a political party is given a troop, because troop is made up of 50 armed men. So whether they are soldiers or whatever, as long as they are there, they are 50, that troops. And you, as a state government, you are giving them to 2,000. And the political party is giving them 50,000 to work. So you see that they will cause a lot of problem. So for the state government to budget a good amount of money and put it to a very responsible person, not that when you keep it, the person will not give the people the money they are supposed to have. And the money will go to them. Per day, you are giving so and so, and there is a place they bring food for them. Or these are the things we do to motivate them. And if this thing is done, you find out that the issue of the insecurity will be a forgotten thing.
You keep mentioning the youths are prepared, and they want a change. These youths you're talking about, are they the social media youths? Some of the the presidential candidates are talking about, or are we talking about sleeves folding and youth willing to go out there and cast their vote? Because There was a sample done recently, just social media sampling. How many of these youths really have? Some of them will tell you that they don't have PVC. Some will tell you they don't even believe in the system. So when you keep emphasizing on this youth, I'm wondering, which youth are you talking about?
Yes, I went to some of the local government areas where they asked people to come and take their PVC. Now, what I saw there that particular day, maybe because one of the presidential candidates is from this state, I don't know. But what I saw that particular day, you see a lot of them, they kind of mobilize themselves to that particular place to make sure everybody gets their own PVC. They were there and they were collecting it. And people, when somebody comes, somebody will say, your PVC is here, come and do the necessary. They do that. They were doing that. And somebody told them that if you didn't get your own, come tomorrow, which is Saturday, you will get it. I went to the other place, the same thing. So people were ready to do that. We know that we have noisemakers and so on. No, there are people who are serious. A graduate who have roamed the streets for 6 years and no job, and now this time around he felt with what is happening that something good will come to his life. We take it seriously. Them are doing. They are mobilizing people in their areas to make sure. They are having so many WhatsApp groups, calling together, calling meeting. Yesterday there was a meeting in my area. We are at Opuno there. Some youths organized about the voting. You want to go your PVC, you want to go, all of them there. They are so organized this particular time. That is why I'm telling you that I have hope on this youth. Not the other youth who will make noise and so on. But we have a lot of youth now that felt that their hope is on this election. It's because this election, whether we like it or not, will make or mar Nigeria forever.
Okay, talking about having a safe poll or having a very secured election this year, 2023. I know that the job is not just for the security agencies alone. We have the electoral umpire, which is the INEC. We also have the political parties because they have their agents at different polls and all that. So what are their roles when it comes to ensuring that we have a safe poll in this general elections? And on the papers this morning, we noticed, we heard there's one story talking about having beavers mentioned in Cross River Government House, even though that the investigations are still on that. But because that is a breach of security, if you ask me. But when it comes to this election, the poll that we are heading for on the 25th of February this year, what are the roles of the electoral umpire, the political parties in securing, in having a safe poll?
What happened in Cross River State, as a matter of fact, it may not be in only Cross River State, because the corruption in Nigeria is so high. I remember when the issue of these Bakassi boys started in Anambra State, then Mbanuju was the governor. I was in Aba. We came there to do 1 or 2 investigations. And that man told me something. He said, anything in this life, even if they are angels, and they come towards Onitsha, that they will be corrupted. I asked him why. The man told me something that happened in the 50s, and how the whole thing came to Onitsha, and that was the end of the whole thing. I was looking at the old man, and not quite too long, he said so, people started seeing another form of Bakassi boys. That you have a problem with your girlfriend, she will go and call you Bakassi boys, give them money. So they change from there, and that shows what is happening. In Nigeria, a lot of things may happen. Just like what we are having now in the money, the CBN and the other people. CBN said, give people the new money, banks will not give. You go to party, somebody is spraying the new money. While you yourself, you just needed 5,000 you want to put and give to one old woman that is sick. They said, no, they don't have money, you're entitled to 2. But they will give to another person. So government houses, they can come in to a particular place because the INEC officials too are corrupt and bring 10 million naira and say, give us two beavers want to do something. And they will do the negotiation because they've not seen that kind of money. They will misbehave and so on. I will expect INEC to do something to avoid all these things. All the INEC officials working in Anambra State, you ask them to go to Plateau State on temporary transfer. Those in Plateau come to Anambra State to work. Police did it in one election. They now ask all the commissioners of police, you are going to go to another state, supervise the election. So tomorrow is election. The commissioner of police in Abuja is coming to Anambra State. That of Anambra is going to Jigawa, and so on. Before he settled down to know anybody, it's no more business as usual. So if you do that, and that was the time we had this option A4, the issue of Abiola and Co. and her. So they did that, they reshuffled, set everybody. It will be money. INEC should do that. Send some of your officials from social and so rank down and say, go to this state, go to that, pay them their severance, pay them the allowance, give them the DTA, and they go and do their job. Then you will have peace. But as long as the same people there, they've known, they have friends, they have customers, and so on, and they will deal with you. But if one Abdullah is coming to Anambra State, and one Chukwu is going to Kano, there will not be any nonsense. The Alaji that will come to you, you will not even understand what he's saying. And the Abdullah that is coming to Anambra State will not know what one chief is talking about. I think that's the only way to bring sanity.
I was thinking the Beavers was there to make sure or reduce to the barest minimum, you understand, the effect of, election malpractice. So finding the Beavers in state government houses and you begin to wonder how these things get there, is beginning to give light that this election might not actually be free and fair as we all suggest.
Even in the US, elections are not most of the time free and fair. Remember that of Al Gore. Al Gore was the VP to Clinton. He was almost winning that election before they now said it remains one state.
Florida.
The state of Florida. And forgotten that most of the Supreme Courts there, the Supreme Court judges were made judges by George Bush that particular time. So they are still there in office. And there's no way they will not favor their mentor. There's no way they will not favor the man who put them in that high, exalted position. They are human.
Well, if you merit it being there, so what?
Yes, you will merit, but there are other people that you merited it. She merited it, another person merited it. And now I'm asked to pick one person. You are the most qualified, and I decide to pick that person. It's my own area of duty. And I say, this is who, and nobody will appeal that. That's it. But if it's where they did the exam and you are coming in because of the exam, I say, okay, my hands are tied, then picked you. You now know nobody put you there. So you walk on your own. So the INEC thing that we are talking about, they call them independent, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But they are not independent. The day they become independent is the day that the president will not have the power to appoint INEC chairman. It will be a committee that will now say, this is the man that will be the next INEC chairman. He will not listen to any president. He will not listen to anybody.
But who will constitute the committee? Is it not the executive?
Yes, there's a way you would say, this is the committee. Then is their work. Initially, the National Judiciary Committee Council, the NGC, had the power to pick a judge, not the state governor, not anybody. They decide among the whole, they know what your professional ability is when it comes to cases that you have judged, and then I pick and recommend you and say you are going to be a judge. You become a judge. So tomorrow you will not say, this particular man favored me. It's what your hard work over the years is what made you to do what? To do that. It was here we had one program, I told you, I don't know whether you are the one who coordinated it or the other person, with Obiokoye himself, Ifatu.
Ifatu, yes.
I reminded him that his father was a judge in Onitsha, but he was made the chief judge of Plateau when Nigeria was Nigeria. He was made the chief judge of Plateau, and he left Onitsha. And maybe at that time he was the number 6 judge in Anambra State, so there's no way that thing will reach him. But he went there to become a judge. Aguda was the chief judge of Botswana, the chief justice of Botswana in Nigeria. He left there. Nobody, the committee says, no, we don't have somebody. Let's bring somebody from Nigeria, experience, that will teach us so that we have that experience. And Justice Aguda was taken. And he went to Botswana and became the chief judge of Botswana. So these are things that we have to look at. As long as somebody that appoints them, INEC can do anything. Let us find out, how did INEC beaver machine get to the government house there, and where again do we have them? Because I understand that in some houses, some members of the Senate, some senators, some House of Reps, and some other people have it in their closets. So let's find out how they got this and things like that.
Okay, we still continue with our discussion right here in the studio, but we don't have the gist alone. We actually talked to some people in the streets, and this is what they have to say.
I na-anya na election a ga-abụ the freest election, and ọ ga-adịkwa fair. Maka na ọ bụ na ị na-anya last election, presidential election eme, ịfụ na the international community bịa nye aka, e put embargo on the travel for every politician na participate in the election. Ọ bịa mee nye aka politicians niile wee mara na ọ bụ na nọ within na enwe crisis na ọ ga-esikwa wee metụ m. That election was very free and fair. The second tenor, the current president Ikitaji Webanye. So at the national level, the presidency should look at that situation again, where there is embargo on every politician traveling out of Nigeria. All of us should stay here. We witness the election, witness the aftermath of election, like 2 months period before anybody can travel out, so that if you cause any crisis, you will be part of enjoying the crisis. Security, police, law of man. The military to law of man. Election got very free and fair.
It may not be immediately possible to resolve, but the most important is creating awareness for people to come out to vote. Because if you say you want to solve insecurity between now and 25th of February, you know it's almost impossible. But if you let people understand that they can come out and vote and nothing will happen, and the young men will be there, because if you're really pained by what's happening in the society, I as a person, I will come out, I will vote, and I will be there. So, because so long as young men are there, the causes of insecurity will be scared by the presence of the young men.
Ihe no na-azụ ihe anyị amara maka na ndị a na-egbu mgbe ụfọdụ na-asị ndị ma ha gbu ha, so anyị nwere ike isi na ihe na-emenụ ụfọdụ jizi oghere dị otu a na-egbu ndị ha kpọrọ asị nọ nsogbu dị ma nọ ndị ha chọrọ igbu ka ha gbuzie iji megide anyị. So Chineke nyere ya ka ọ bụ na ndị mmadụ ga-adịkwa dịka kịta ọ na-emekarị n'ụzọ ụtụtụ n'ime abalị na-efifi ode eme. So onye ọbụla bidogodi ịkwụsị ime oke ụzọ, ịkwụsị ịga ije abalị na-eme nke afọrọ anya during the daytime ka anyị wee nwee ike ghọta maka na ebe ahụ ka mmadụ ga-ejigosi ka ya napụta onwe ya. Then gọọmenti ụfọdụ ndị ọrụ a ndị na-eche obodo a na-akwa arụ ọrụ ha o nwebe ya bụ anarụ onye ọbụla agbakpuo obi ya and ọ na-adị m ka na ha eburu ihe ngwa agha a ga-eji wee chedo so onye pụta ọsị nke a ya ji enwere isi ka ya baa bịa maka na ọ bụrụ na eme ka ha jide nke nwere isi ha na ndị a ga-emenwukwu ya so ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti ga-ekwe tinye aka ime ka ihe ndị a gaa ọ ga-adị mma.
Hence, the little security we have in Nigeria can sustain this forthcoming election. We don't have any problem. Hence, with your PVC, you can change everything. So I don't think there is so much insecurity in Nigeria if we can tell ourselves the truth. The truth is just fear. Fear of the unknown. If we can just mobilize our spirit, get your PVC, vote, there will be no problem. Once you cast your vote, you go home, and the vote should be counted. The security agency should retighten their belts. Then the vigilance, the government security agency will equally help. Then the village vigilante will equally help. Then the youths themselves should mobilize themselves and help to restore security in their own area so as to enable people to come out and vote. That is it.
Back to Good Morning Anambra, where we are talking about the polls and the security at stake. How safe is it for the Anambra and probably maybe Nigerians to go and vote? And from the riders you saw there, you heard where people were talking about if we have the manpower to, will I say, provide security in 36 states and the federal capital. Well, that would be a question we'll ask Mr. Paulson. Mr. Paulson, from what one of our Mr. John, yeah. Please, from what we heard from the street walk, the Nigeria, the federal government, as in the police and the security agencies, do we have the personnel to man 36 states, different polling units, and Abuja, the state capital?
Yes, we have. Not only the police, we have the civil defense. We have because in police we have the ordinary policemen who come in, they stay at the polling, like I said earlier. They stay there, they don't go with their rifle or things like that. They are there to keep order. But you don't keep order when there is problem. The police should have their joint patrol with the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and they move around, and the police operational department, the DIGs, we now look at how many helicopters do they have. Yes, because it's money, election is money. How many helicopters do they have that can hover around 36 states? One helicopter is enough in Anambra State. One is enough. It's Lagos, Kano, Oyo. Oyo is even bigger than Ibadan alone as a town has 12 local government areas. Ibadan as a town has 12 local government areas. Big local government areas. Yes. So that kind of place, you give them 3 helicopters to move up to Shaki area and things like that. They move and they tell people this is what is happening. And you make sure that the response squad gets there on time. But if for you to bring policemen that would be in every ward, don't have that, the military men that would be in every ward with their arms and so on. Every polling unit, no, it will not work. But we have some policemen, ordinary people that keep.
Somebody actually mentioned the community vigilantes and all that. So
that is where every state government and the state INEC will agree on mobilization. Now you don't tell, if I'm the head of a vigilante in a group, you now ask me to bring my men out. Is it water from Obibia in Oka we use to fuel the vehicle, the river Obibia? I will go and to fuel the vehicle. There must be logistics, for God's sake. So that is where there will be motivation from the governors. Give them money, give them everything, and pay money for their fueling and so on and eating. And their little money that they will give to their wives, we are going for work. Take this and buy things for the children till we come back. We may not come back in 3 days' time or something like that. So you will mobilize people financially. So it's not calling them a vigilante come. Where will they come? You will do everything. You see, when they are moving and their tire has problem, maybe their vehicle they have, the tire is not working very well. You give them money, they change tires and make sure that everything in the vehicle is in order. It's real operational work they are going for. So let governors come out and assist.
Away from that, one respondent actually said that we don't really have any security challenge in our country as regards to the election. That is just fear of unknown. That people, the youth, should also mobilize themselves and see how they can safeguard their votes.
For somebody who stays in the East, it may be right, but in the West, no. I've been in the West for too long. And we are right from time where you have ballot box snatching. They do that. Or suddenly you just see some political thugs coming in a place shooting, scaring everybody, and they carry the ballot box. So when the youths are there without any enforcement in terms of armament, and somebody now scares them. But where this is work is when you fire for fire, then you hear another person, everybody calms down, and so on. So they don't do that. So that's the important thing, and that's election. So INEC should come out and tell the world what they need financially, and let the government support them and do something. If somebody has bullion, that uses bullion van to collect money from his house, and INEC is talking of 1 billion naira and somebody has it stocked in his house. That was the essence of changing this money, which the bank messed us up. Because this money means that you will not have enough money to give to people, this time around. So, how do you fight that? If you don't have money to mobilize your thugs, it will be difficult for them to operate. So that was why this issue of changing money. And when Emefiele, they did see all those things, they started saying he was doing terrorism, doing so many things. They want to get him and so on. He came back, went to see his principal. His principal welcomed him and things like that. So that is the problem. INEC has a lot of challenge. Some of these presidential candidates are richer than most states in Nigeria. Not one. They are richer than about 5 states put together. When you join Kano and Lagos State, they bring another state, add them together. Some of them are rich. They have so much money and they can do anything. They want to bribe their way and so on. That's exactly what will happen. Then what do we do at that particular time? We are saying all these things. What about when we have fake INEC workers that will come? And by the time about 20 people have done, they said the beavers are not working in a place where they know that their own candidate is not having a majority people. And they tell you the beaver is not working. What do you do? They tell you.
That would be the decision of the party agent, because each ward will have different party agents that will try to see that their election or the vote there is not being manipulated. But coming to talk about INEC and their probably, well, let's say, their little shortcomings, as Nigerians, as people that really clamor for change that they want, how much of this vote buying are we going to witness? Because elections were carried out in Osun, Ekiti, before this general election, and there were incidents of vote buying. So come this February election, which is the general election, what is INEC doing about vote buying?
You cannot stop vote buying in Nigeria. It has been there for a very long time. And that is why the political class used to rape the people. and put them in abject poverty, that once they see 10,000, their body will begin to shake because they've never seen such a thing. That is what they are doing. Because if an agent, party agent is there with the first question, what you answered me the other time, and you give a party agent 5 million naira, it takes the grace of God for a party agent to say, no, I'm not taking this money. That's the truth of the matter. Some of them will buy. They will buy the agents there, buy the INEC officials there, and things like that. So that's why I say that they should change. They swap all these workers there. They all leave and go down to Taraba State and work, and bring some other people from there and come to Anambra State to work, including the what do you call their leader, the head of the INEC, this thing. Then change the police people that are in Anambra State. Change them, let the CP and his men.
Wouldn't that be too much? Because INEC suggested about, though they said it was going to be cost effective, putting surveillance camera at polling units. That they suggested it, but I think the cost was running into billions, and they said no, that the government doesn't have money to fund this. But if you had cameras at polling units, will it reduce to the barest minimum this vote buying, and party agents who are there to, will I say, do manipulations, both agents of the parties and the INEC officials?
And again, look at it's barely 1 month to the election. We're talking about all these processes of what we need to do now, changing the police commissioners and all that. With just 1 month, can we tighten the loose nuts?
Now, let me tell you, police is a force, and not like ABS, where you tell your MD to do this, it takes time. Police force. Signal comes now. On Friday, maybe on Wednesday, telling the Commissioner of Police and his men immediately they should relocate to Kano State by Friday, before Friday. Every CP should be in the state where they are sent to. Nobody will waste time. It's a forced work. You will leave. You have a child. My child was, how old? Just 3 weeks. And they say you are going to Somalia to fight. You begin to say, well, this force, that's police force, not police service. The army is an armed forces. They are not armed service. So they are different things. Once they are signal from the IGP of police and say through the Inspector General of Police operations, and say every body, every CP in their state, giving them the state where they will locate to, even Borno State, say before 8 a.m. on Friday, you should all be there. By 8 a.m., who are you? I said you've gotten a new job. Then they will be there, ready with their men. How they will be there before? It's after you have come back, then you start thinking of your money, your expenses, and so on. They will send you and they will move. All of them will move. That's force. So it's not INEC, all this. They did it before, during the time of Babangida, when they were having an election, they were preparing an election. They sent all the CPs around. They moved them around from one state to another. I remember Ifejika was in Plateau and Ifejika was sent to Oyo State. So I remember that Osoneme was sent from Oyo State to Imo. So they did that. They changed.
And was this able to curtail the manipulation?
Yes, he did curtail. That was why Abiola won. He did. You don't know me, I don't know you. So there's no way you will buy me. But if I've been in the same place with you, we are friends, you come and pay me courtesy call, come to my house, give my wife money and so on. The next day my wife will be asking me, how about that our friend that came? You understand? You know the implication. So if they do that, the policemen, they give them something. Even if not now, the force, you give them money, logistic, later in the day for that motivation. Not immediately. They tell them to go. They will find a way of getting to these places. They will do that.
Okay, that's That's a good one. But let's just keep our fingers crossed, hoping that maybe as we are doing the program, that the
forces
they are listening, they're hearing what we are saying, and they will do the needful before the 25th day of February when we are all heading for the polls. But just before we go, now we're still talking about Anambra State, getting Anambra State safe for the polls. Now, we've talked about the role the government have to play, giving motivation to the security agents and all that, and also galvanizing all the agencies we have, both the vigilante, and see how they can work in synergy for us to have a safe poll in Anambra State. But then as electorate, what should be our duties as electorates, as media, as journalists on the election day to see that it's also safe? Now in the US, they are saying that they don't have anybody they are supporting, but they are going to, sanction any defaulters, electoral defaulters. So in all this, how or what should we do as the electorate?
The important thing is, if you've gotten your card, you go by the 20th of February, you should know where your polling booth is. Not on that day you begin to ask. You understand me? You know where your polling booth is. If you work in Oka, and you live in a place like Enugu, you go and register near your office. You have disenfranchised yourself, because there's no way movement will allow you to come from Enugu to your office at the secretariat to vote. It's not possible. It's not, because the movement, you will not even see vehicle, and if you drive your vehicle, the law enforcement agents will embarrass you, and so on. So that is why it is good to do what? To register near your place. It's just a walking. You can stroll with some friends. You all will go. My own is at the NUJ building there. If I shout in that place, people in my compound will hear me. And something like that. I just walk down there, do the cast, the vote, and so on. Then the journalists themselves look at what is happening and so on. There should be a phone number. I remember Anambra decided on the 6th of November, is it 2 years ago? Last year. When, no, it's two years ago. Last year, 2 years ago. Yes. When Soludo, I was in your studio from 7 o'clock till 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and so on. I go that day, I've never fasted like that, like I fasted that day. No food, nothing, and nowhere to buy food. So with all these things, these are things the radio television stations will join. Make sure that they give you people money before time. Not on that election day, they start to give you peanuts that you will not be able to see food. They give you, you prepare from your house. Have your food flags. If possible, they add money for you to buy a flags. You put all those your things there, put it in your bag and go and do something. They prepare. Not on that day of election. They give you 500, give this person 1,000, 2,000, begin to do all those things. The whole thing should be prepared a week to the election time. Let everybody prepare himself and get ready. These are what we are buying. This is what we do. Then the man in the house, buy food stuff in your house and something like that, and get ready. So on that particular day of election, you move, cook good food for your children, then you go for voting. You stay there until you see the end. But you have settled the children at home. Buy them good football. They are playing somewhere in the neighborhood. And you are there to do your voting. So it affects everybody, both the journalists, or wherever you are reporting from, the radio house, the newspaper house. You must make sure that you plan and take care of everybody.
All right, well said. And on that note, we want to say a very big thank you to you, John, for joining us this morning on the topic 2023 elections, getting Anambra safe for the polls. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, my name is Chidimma Oramwa. Thank you for being part of the show this morning. And from my colleague,
I'm Ajuduchukoka. We say thank you. Please ensure that you cast your votes, because it's your civil responsibility.
Thank you so much.